And Tom, today's topic, it's something for us to understand because I'll give you an example. My healthcare last year, I went to old UH and basically had to deal with all the craziness in the hospital. There was no real, like, you go to the doctors at the hospital. I didn't like that kind of situation. I remember days before where you go to your PCP. It's not in that system. It's not all the system. Well, it's because private equity owns your doctor now. What's that mean for an employee health plans? So let's go to specifically
Well,
enough my first question. Why should employers care if private equity owns medical practices?
private equity companies generally make they buy companies and they make terrible decisions and gut the companies and they try to flip the companies. They're making, they're trying to flip houses. Same deal. They're trying to flip businesses. So, I mean, do you want your doctors to get flipped every few years? I don't know. And they're trying to make a profit. So their negotiations with the insurance company, they are asking for more and more because they need to be aggressive because they're trying to make a profit. And what's happening there is if they do some of these companies, negotiations and they raise, they get more money, the insurance companies make the money back and chart raising premiums.
And that's the problem. So let's talk about these big entities that own everything. They also own the
Mhm.
insurance company. That's not fair either, right? That's almost like the private equity move, isn't it?
Why wouldn't you look at CVS? They what Aetna or Aetna owns CVS, whatever that it is. Hey, it's all a game, and it's a free market. We're in capitalism. The problem is the government comes in and puts in laws that if you don't take advantage of the tax breaks of the laws, you get to pay more.
And here's a question that you would say is a stupid question, but you could thank my A1 research team for this question. Does private equity ownership actually raise costs?
Yeah, it could absolutely if they're negotiating these deals and they increase the costs, that for the insurance has to pay them. The insurance companies want to run at a certain profit margin, they raise rates
Why are emergency rooms suddenly so expensive, Tom?
because you have a lot of the hospitals have become public, not private, non-profs, the for profit now. And you have administrators who are greedy as hell. And, I know a doctor, he was in practice up in Dayton, Ohio, moved to North Carolina. He made more money as a hospital administrator than he ever did in his best years as a doctor. And he was a big time surgeon, cancer surgeon. Yep. I mean, it's unbelievable what they get away with, and the pharmacies and the agents, the insurance companies, the hospitals. And people fall for these tricks. It's unbelievable.
Are you seeing any costs going down in 2026 involving healthcare?
If you take advantage of tax breaks, if you take advantage of the system and design your plans that benefit you and your employees, not the insurance companies and the agents, yes.
All right. Is this part of why healthcare inflation keeps accelerating? These private equity firms owning owning
They're
doctors.
part of the problem. They're not all, obviously. No, it's part. You also have technology. People want the newest and greatest machines that cost money, so they increase costs. Uh, they're all at a profit margin. They're all, the public ones are to Wall Street, right? They're all about earning income. It's all about earnings. So they want to maintain profitability at certain points. So that's what they do.
And what should employers be asking regarding this whole situation with private equity firms buying up when you're kind of looking at how you're purchasing healthcare?
How do you take advantage of a system that's broken, utilizing the system and the tax breaks that are associated with it?
And these tax breaks are just there. It's numbers, right? And you have the right team to really understand the tax, right? That's key. If there was no tax
Well,
breaks,
the tax laws and the laws. I mean, you got the know, ACA laws, HIPAA laws, ERISA laws, Section 105. You got Section 125. You got all these laws, and people have to understand that if you do it this way versus that, you save thousands upon thousands of dollars.
right?
And then you have the insurance agents. They're out promoting these individual coverage health reimbursement arrangements they call Icarus. And they're trying to make money that they're losing because people can't afford the group plans the way they're doing it. So they're trying to charge all these fees. And I'm like, for what? And why are you using a individual coverage HRA when you can use a medical expense reimbursement plan and not have all the rules that these silly things have? Makes no sense. And I'm just sitting there. I don't understand why people are doing what they're doing. It's not logical.
All right. Well, fantastic. The best place to do is go call Tom today to schedule a Tom with claim links because ultimately, if you're a business and individuals, you also work with them too if they're really frustrated with their healthcare costs, right? And especially they're purchasing on the open market.
Well, it's financing your claims also. That a lot of people are financing, the employees are financing their claims with after tax dollars when they could be doing it with before tax dollars.
All right. Okay. Well, we appreciate it, Tom. Look forward to speaking next week. All right. That was a special
Thanks.
simulcast, the Neil Haley Show and the Cutting Edge Benefits Podcast, guys.